Hi everyone, it's Elise Lonsdale once again from Data Australasia, and I thought it might be time I started doing some how-to videos or more instructional videos because I have one of these really cool devices that allows me to get a video capture from another device and record it onto the computer and use it to show people things. So I thought I would show people the basics of how a screen reader works, and we'll do it on something as familiar to most people as the Windows desktop.
Data Australasia, guided by lived experience, led by you.
And welcome back. I think in this how-to video we'll look at JAWS because it's the most common screen reader, that and NVDA, and I will set one up for Apple at some point, but let's see how well this works out, because I can also capture the sound through my mixer. So with the magic of modern day editing, what I'll do is I'll be able to patch in some commentary as I make it with the screen reader, so you'll hear the audio come through, and I will actually use a focus highlight, which I'm going to need to use ZoomText Fusion to handle, because what I actually want to do is show people who are sighted what a blind person can hear. Because a lot of what's gone wrong over the years has JAWS up until more recently, and even now it really relies on ZoomText to have this happen. It's never been good at rendering the screen in such a way that a sighted person and a blind person can collaborate. So if you have a blind person on a computer trying to do a job filling in a web form, or trying to do a spreadsheet, or work with a document, or navigate around the Windows File Explorer, or even navigate on a web page, the sightling's going to go left, go left. No, it's over there. Go right, go right. Now, with a screen reader, because of the sequential reading effect, we can't go diagonally down the screen from the top left to the bottom right, or the top right to somewhere down near the bottom of the screen. We've got to travel through all these elements in a sequential manner, and that's either done with arrow keys or, more often than not, the tab key. So we're actually tabbing forward and backwards. So when I'm teaching a screen reader to a new user, and particularly one who has lost their sight, and I recently did a talk on people who have lost their sight and having to adapt to blindem, I have to change the language, and I have to sort of say that we have to think about forward and backwards, or next and previous. So we're going to tab to the next element, or shift tab, holding the shift key down and tabbing to a previous element. And that element could be a form field on a form, or it could be a checkbox or a radio button on a form, or a button. And due to the magic of modern science, we're edited and we're in the studio. I'll don the headphones once again, and we'll have a look at the way JAWS actually works, being the most popular Windows-based screen reader. Now, I may have already said, or I may not have said, we have to manage the screen in up, down, left or right, or preferably, better said, previous and next and previous item. So we'll switch over to my desktop, which looks rather cluttered, and let's have a look. Now, a mouse will allow us to go diagonally. Now, the mouse isn't that visible at the moment because ZoomText is set its smallest, but you can see the idea of a mouse is that you can go diagonally around the screen, you can click on an icon, etc., etc. That's how a mouse works. I'm using ZoomText Fusion because I want to use the focus highlight that comes with ZoomText. So if we pull out ZoomText just to show you my crowded desktop, not sure where the focus highlight is at the moment. Perhaps you can see it on the screen. I can't on my monitor because I have low vision myself. Okay, so I'm going to use first letter navigation to get to somewhere where I know.
Firefox.lnk.
Firefox.lnk. Well, I've done a registry hack on here, so I've got the .lnk designation visible, which I'm not sure how to undo that registry hack, so it stays as it is. So ignore the .lnks. Let me just slow it down a little bit for you, just to make it a bit easy, because we are using the Eloquence more, less human-sounding voice for this demo.
Slower.
And it's the most common voice you're going to find with JAWS, unless the user has installed the extra voices. So I'm going to go F again for first letter navigation. I'm hoping to find Fusion.
Flash News, Fusion 2025.lnk.
There's Fusion 2025. As I said, ignore the LNK. If I go F again,
FS Reader 3.0.
FS Reader.
LNK, 60 of 97. Fusion 2026.lnk 70 of 97.
I've eventually found Fusion 2026.
Fusion 2026.lnk 70 of 97.
It's a 70th of 97 icons on my rather crowded and messy desktop. I think blind people still find the desktop the most easiest way to access applications. I will do a talk later on when we talk about
Search box edit.
the start menu, which is now a little bit easier to use than it used to be. But we'll do that another time. Mine's green, by the way, because I like green and it's a good contrasting color against the other icons.
Escape. Desktop.
Okay, so we'll do this with ZoomText because I want to show you the focus highlight, because the focus highlight's that little red box that's now sitting around the ZoomText Fusion icon. If I move one to the left to the next column,
ZoomText 2026.lnk 65 of 97.
it's moved to the next column of icons and the focus highlight is sitting on that. If I go to the one to the right, which is a Toastmasters shortcut that I've created at some point.
Fusion Toastmasters-shortcut.lnk 77 of 97.
For me to activate that icon, a sighted person would double click on that. Of course, a blind person can press enter. And I'll just pull back. And it's actually taken me to my Toastmasters folder on the local directory system.
Area director.
So we'll discuss more of the file explorer later. I thought it might have brought up the website, but yeah, I've made a Toastmasters shortcut to my to one of my folders, of course. Using Windows D, I can I'll just pull out ZoomText for you. Using Windows D, I'm going to end up going back to the desktop. And there are a number of commands that we can give Windows to and JAWS, because we're all keyboard driven here. As you can see, I'm not using the mouse. Is if we go Windows T, which sets focus to the taskbar.
Windows T, taskbar, Copilot pin button, 1 of 15.
Now, it says 1 of 15 icons in that particular group, and since Microsoft have muddied the waters, the taskbar used to be specifically for running applications. Now it seems to be a shortcut bar. Oh, you know, you can pin icons to it. And the first icon that it found was the Copilot icon.
My Copilot pin button, 1.
As you can see, that's highlighted, and I've just magnified that up for the viewers. Within a group of icons on the taskbar, you use the arrow keys.
Microsoft Teams pin button, 2 of 15.
2 of 15. Notice that 2 of 15, like before we had, 78 of 97 or something. So JAWS will tell you how many items are in whatever we're viewing. So if we're in a folder, it would tell us how many icons, or how many items were in that folder, and we'll deal with that in a minute.
File Explorer.lnk-2 running Windows pin enter.
Now, if I press enter, I would hope it would focus on that.
1.
No, it didn't.
Microsoft Edge.Google Chrome.lnk enter. Chrome.
Oh, there you go. Well, at least Chrome got up and running.
Google Chrome. New tab dash Google Chrome Elite.
And because it's running a different profile.
Slower. Faster.
So I've got one of the more human-sounding voices for when Chrome appears. So if we get back to the Windows desktop,
Desktop list view.
You'll hear it go back to eloquence. And I'll go back to the taskbar.
Windows T, task, Microsoft Store pin, Wikipedia.ln.
So there's Microsoft Store, Wikipedia,
Camera pin button,
Camera,
Google Meet.ln,
Google Meet,
Facebook pin,
Disney Plus pin button. Disney Plus pinned. I don't use half these icons. I forgot I even had them there.
YouTube.com pin button,
YouTube.com is there.
Speedist pin button.
Speed disk, if I wanted to run that, I should hopefully be able to get the Euclid speed test up. And yes, I can, actually. I'm just going to run Word.
Search box, Word, enter.
I just did that from running that from the start menu and typing in Word because the focus falls to the start menu. So I'll just kill off Euclid speed test. It's just a digression we don't need. And the way we switch between applications, because
Google Chrome.
Word's up now. There's Chrome.
One
my folder.
Fusion
is there.
This PC Document 1-Word.
Document 1-Microsoft Word, and I'm running that in dark mode. And I'm doing that by holding the Alt key down and pressing Tab.
New tab Google Speed.
If I hold the Alt key down and press Shift Tab, I go around the circle backwards.
New tab Google Chrome. Document 1-Word.
And I do, and the Euclid speed test is in the middle of the screen.
This PC Fusion C:\speedest. This site can access your load.
I'm now on the Euclid speed test, so hopefully Alt F4 will kill that off.
Alt F4.
Yep, there it goes, and it's not accessible anyway. Yeah, so if I do insert T, which is a JAWS command, I can tell what program has focus.
Document 1-Word, print.
Document 1-Word, and it, for some reason, said print. So it will give you the document that's open, in this case, an unnamed document that we have here, and the application that's responsible for it, which in this instance is Microsoft Word. So let's go back to the desktop.
Folder view.
And remember how I said we're going next on previous item? Let's have a look at that in the Windows File Explorer. I'll issue another Windows command. So often when we teach Access Technology, it's a case of learning which is a Windows command and which is a JAWS command or which is an NVDA command. So if you're fully sighted and you want to issue this command, you can. It is the Windows key plus E.
Windows E. This PC. Items view multi-select list box. Working on it.
Okay,
Devices and
so
drives.
I'm running dark mode and I will go to my C drive. Now I've set this up more blindy friendly than the way Windows does it by
OS left
default.
parent C.
OS C colon. I've got a Google Drive there, and I've got some network shares to the NAS, for example.
Network locations expanded. Network locations expanded.
Where I come into the actual folder where focus falls. Remember, we're talking about that magical thing called focus.
1.6.
And
NetPub.
you'll see I've enlarged the screen a bit. The focus highlight is around the top folder.
E-support.
E-support, whatever it is. I'm going to go down to Elise. Users preferably.
NetPub. Notifications. Perf log. Program files left parent x86 users 7 of 11.
So now that I've focused on users, and we're talking, and this is why we want the list view rather than the grid view, because I don't have to worry about what happens if I go left and right. If I do that, I'll hear the date and time and the file sizes. We're not going to cover that in this brief session. But if you were going left and right and you can see that you had to go left and right, you might miss half the folders. So blindies like to have a list view because it's a simple case of just going up and down rather than across, because they may not be able to tell that you need to go across. A sighted person could, a blind person could if they bothered to check. But often it's just a little bit of extra work and a little bit of extra cognitive load. So we've found the users folder. Let's press enter.
C:\users. Items view multi-select list box. Not selected Messiah account. File folder.
I don't know what that Messiah count is. I'll go down to mine in a minute. I will WSI account, whatever that is. Anyway, we're not, and then we've got the public folder.
Public, 2 of 3, Ellis, 3 of 3.
And Elise, which is my one. Notice that the screen reader did give us a little bit of extra information, a little bit too verbose on this session. It said multi-view list box type thing. So sometimes we've got to tell people to what that actually is, or that we want to actually ignore it. For the time, I won't go into it here because it's multi-select anyway.
Enter.
It means I can select multiple items is what it's trying to tell us. Well, we don't want to do any selecting at the moment because it's only a very basic, how to hello video type thing with a screen reader. I can cursor down to, I'm going to go to my Dropbox.
Contacts, Creative Cloud files.
And I can cursor down. I can actually see it visually, but I'm going to show you guys a neat little trick that blindies use, and that is first letter navigation. I know Dropbox begins with the letter D, so I'm probably going to hit the first folder that begins with D, which will either be downloads or documents, but at least it's only about 2 or 3 more keystrokes after that to find my Dropbox.
Documents, 5 of 19.
Yep, it's found the 5th of 19 folders in the Elise folder, because there's videos and pictures and whatever else they've got there, OneDrive and iCloud Drive and all that. So we're going to have a look at Dropbox. So I need to press D again.
Downloads, 6 of 19.
It's found the downloads folder. Now it's going to get it right.
Dropbox, 7 of 19.
And if I were to press D again, it would probably go back to the first folder in the list, which begins with letter D, which is
Documents 5
again.
of 19. Downloads, 6 of 19. Dropbox, 7 of 19.
And you can hear the Dropbox is the 7th of 19 folders. And this gives the blind person some idea of how many items or how many folders are in this directory, in this particular folder that are subordinate to this particular folder. Let's press enter.
C:\users \Ellis \Dropbox. Items view multi-select list box. Not selected 1 password. 4/01/2023 7:07 p.m. file folder. 1 of 119. Not selected 1 password.
So the 1 password folder is where I do keep the credentials for the 1 password just in case they got lost. Just in case, because there's a hell of a lot of information in my 1 password application that I would could not live without. And it's the first of 100 and something odd folders. It also gave us it read us the columns, the time and the date of when it was created. I'm going to go down to Data Australasia now. I'm going to do a couple of Ds here again. Well, this would work if I went to L for Lonsdale Media, actually.
Lonsdale Media, 72 of 119.
72, 119. So, yeah, I could go to Lonsdale Media, but I will show you Data Australasia, but I need to be careful that I'm not going to give somebody else's name away. So you might find that I'm going to do D a couple of times. There's 3 folders here of interest that begin with the letter B. D1 is a share I have with a client, which for some reason ended up in the outside of the Data Australasia folder. The other 2 are Data Australasia directories. So one's the finances and one's the actual working directories with the client work, etc., which is where we're going to go, and tips and tricks and resources and whatnot.
The Babylon underline the Kellet Disability and Assistive Technology Access Australasia, 45 of 119.
Okay, so I had to do a couple of Ds, so I got across that other client, and I ended up at Deb Avalon, which is my a friend's directory of mine who works with the Avalon Centre, and DCal, which is Kelly's and mine. Anyway, we're going to go to Data Australasia by pressing Enter because we are now focused on it. Remember, we talk about this lovely thing called focus.
Enter. Items view list box. C:\users /Ellis /Dropbox /Disability Assistive Technology Access Australasia. Items view multi-select list box. Not select.
I'm just going to press the Control key to shut him up. I do like to hear the path. And that's what it's doing. It's reading the path. C:\users /Elise Dropbox /Data Australasia. I'm a DOS junkie from way back. There are a lot of really cool directories here. I'm going to
5R accessibility
5RPH because I've been on there a couple of times for their radio programs. But I'm just going to accelerate using the letter C because I want to go to clients.
Certificate of Domain Registration, 19 of 71.
So, of course, it found Certificate of Domain Registration, 19 of however many. I'll go C again.
Clients, 20 of 71.
20 of 71.
Enter.
I'm pressing Enter on the clients directory.
/users
Now,
/drop.
this is as far as I'm prepared to go. I did press the Control key, and we'll do some talks on that because a lot of people don't know how to quieten JAWS if it rabbits. I don't need to hear the path all the time. It just reads the path for whatever reason. And most blind people know that hitting the Control key is your saving grace because I want to get to a particular folder.
Australian clients -current.
I've got Australian clients current.
Australian clients -inactive.
Australian clients that are currently inactive. In other words, they've done their programs and are not requiring service at this moment, but they could come back.
Client speciality.
Client speciality, that's for things like, work I do with Statewide Vision Resource Centre, with the work I also do with the audio description people, depending on what happens. So I can't go into those folders for privacy reasons, of course.
Clients -current.
But if I were to, you would find a whole raft of folders beginning with the client's name and their NDIS numbers if I know them. If I don't know their NDIS numbers, I just have TBA, which is to be advised. So I can't take you in there for privacy reasons, of course. Now, we can navigate this. I'm just going to go quickly up with, this is a Windows command, Alt up arrow.
C:\users /Ellis /Dropbox /Disability Assistive Technology Access Australasia. Items view multi.
And I'm back in the parent directory. So you can see there's a lot of keyboarding and a lot of awareness as to where you are in the system. If I move the cursor up and down, I'll find that clients directory again.
Certificate clients, 20
so
of 70.
I'm able to navigate that, and we'll do another video on how to use the File Explorer with JAWS on another occasion. This is just an introduction and showing sighted people that it's all about the focus because blind people can't manage the mouse, so therefore they can't navigate around the screen. A very quick thing I'm going to show people is very quickly how a website works. And this is a very, 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 very cursory introduction, again, on how a screen reader works. And we'll do more advanced things at a later date. So I think I've still got, I'll just pull ZoomText out to give the sighted people some context. I think I've still got Chrome happening here on the task switcher.
Document 1-new tab dash.
Yep, new tab, there it is.
Address and search bar edit.
And you're going to have that nice
Control+L.
Lovely voice. Now I'm going to go Control L to set focus to the address bar.
Control L.
And I'm going to type in my web address and it will probably fill it in for me anyway. DATAUSTRALASA.
Data Australia. Enter.
And here we are.
Home dash Disability and Assistive Technology Access Australasia dash Google Chrome release. Home dash Disability and Assistive Technology Access Australasia dash Google Chrome release page.
I did actually hear it the first time, Jules. It said Home dash Disability and Assistive Technology Access Australasia dash Google Chrome. And it reads the title as a page materialises on the screen, and we can ask it to do that again with Insert T if we missed it.
Home dash Disability and Assistive Technology Access Australasia dash Google Chrome release.
Oh, it says release because of my profile. Okay, so it is reading a hierarchical format. The lowest part of the hierarchy is the page in question, which is home. That's why you heard it say home. The next part of the hierarchy is the website concerned, which is the Data Australasia website. The next part of the hierarchy is the application that's running this, in this instance Google Chrome, but it would say Microsoft Edge if I was doing this in Edge, or Mozilla Firefox if I was doing it there. And because I'm running different profiles with Chrome, it said Elise because I have profiles for Toastmasters and profiles for statewide. So it would have it would announce that profile. So it's giving a hierarchical format when you look at the address. Now, the address bar used to print that for sighted people. You will notice since the horribleness of Windows Vista / Windows 8 and 10 that we don't see those things printed in the top of the screen anymore, but they are still there. That text is still available to screen readers. So us blindies have a little bit more of an advantage than sighted people. Sighted people have to play the guessing game. Vision impaired people get a little bit more accurate information. Okay, so we're on this page. I'm just going to go H for headings, and I will not spend too much time on this.
Disability and Assistive Technology Access Australasia visited heading level 1 link.
And there's a link there in that heading. The focus highlight is formed around the main title of the page, which is white text on a green background. If I go H again,
Data Australasia heading level 2.
I put the Data Australasia there to reinforce the fact that there is an acronym involved in my business name. Now, if I go H again, I should end up on the next main heading of the page, which is home. Welcome, I think.
Home heading level 1.
Home heading level 1, and it now tells us. So I'm using the headings as a stepping stone to get through this document. And as you can see, the focus highlight has followed us there. Let's go to another heading.
Home heading level 1. Vision, Mission and Values heading level 2.
Vision, Mission and Values heading level 2, and for some reason it's rendered it as white.
Support for NDIS Vision.
I better have a look on the style sheet of that. That's odd. I hadn't noticed that before. Let's go to something a little bit more visual, really appealing, because obviously the white text on a green background is not cool, especially when it's a light green. I hadn't noticed that before. Something's wrong with the style sheet. I'll fix it at another time. Anyhow, let's have a look at this.
Assistive Technology Mentoring heading level 3.
Okay, I've found another heading, Assistive Technology Mentoring, and it says it's a heading level 3, so it's less important than some of the other headings on the page. If I hold the Shift key down, I'll go backwards through those headings.
Support for NDIS Participants and Plan Managers heading level 2. Vision, Mission and Values heading level 2.
Vision, Mission and Values, which we'll have to fix at some point.
Guided by Lived Experience, led by you. Heading level 2.
There's a heading that I actually skipped over before somehow. We can bring up a dialog box of headings with Insert F6.
Heading List Dialog.
There's the headings. And then if you want to just arrow up and down through the headings, we can do that later at a later point.
Not selected. Support for NDIS Participants and Plan Enter.
We'll go to that heading.
Level 2 support.
It doesn't matter how we get to a heading. This means I don't have to read the web page linearly. But if I issue the say all command at this point, it will read us this little bit of information about the support for NDIS and plan managers with insert down arrow.
Heading Level 2 Support for NDIS Participants and Plan Managers. Illustration of a woman holding a smartphone, with a clipboard showing a check mark and the letters NDIS beside her, along with a small plant at the bottom right. Graphic. If you are blind or have low vision, Data Australasia can provide access technology training, assessments, and ongoing support. We work with you to build skills, feel more confident, and use your devices in everyday life. Our services follow the NDIS, link pricing arrangements and price limits. Left paren 2025, 2026, right paren. They can be funded through the Assistive Technology Mentoring Support item left paren reference code :15_300_0103_1 right paren. May also be added if needed. Heading Level 3 Assistive Technology Mentoring. As your mentor,
I'll just stop that there at the next heading. Now, you'll notice when it came to that, after it read the heading, it actually read the graphic, and there's alt text in the graphic that's not visible to the sighted naked eye that describes the graphic to a screen reader. And also helps the search engines index the website. And as that was the first element in that paragraph, it read it first. It's also rendered left of the screen with some HTML code to make it go left of the body text. Sometimes I have the graphics on the right of the body text, just depending on how I feel when I create the page. So it read it first, and then it then went off and read the paragraph. And as you can see, the focus highlight went ahead and read it. Now, if I read manually with a down arrow,
list of 3 items.
It's actually coming up, and this is probably not a good example. Let me go back to that previous paragraph.
If you are blind or...
Now, it's reading paragraph by paragraph.
Illustration of a woman holding a smartphone with a clipboard showing a check mark and the letters NDIS beside her, along with a small plant at the bottom right. Graphic.
And it said that's a graphic, and it actually has highlighted, the focus highlight is sitting on the graphic.
1.8 if illustration of...
So we can see that with ZoomText, and you would have seen it without ZoomText because the screen is actually rather sizable at the moment. The next time I go down, so if I go down, a sighted person at this stage might say to a blind person, go right, or the world will end. No, the blind person's going to go down to the next element, which is paragraph text.
If you are blind or have low vision, Data Australasia can provide access technology training, assessments, and ongoing support. We work with you to build skills, feel more confident, and use your devices in everyday life.
So whilst the image and the paragraph text are in the same less than p greater than tags, it is the next entity within that tag. So we have to think forward, and we have to think previous and next, or forward and backwards, not so much left and right, particularly when we're dealing with totally blind people, because we don't want to burden them with visual layout. So there it is.
1.1.1.
I'll just pull out ZoomText. That's a little bit of a brief introduction to how screen readers work.
Windows.
Desktop list view. Toastmasters-shortcut.ln case.
So I appreciate you joining me for that. I hope you've enjoyed my little bit of experience, and we've learnt some new keystrokes and how we have to be keyboard driven. Screen readers are very keyboard driven, as you've just seen. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
For fast, efficient access technology training and support, call Elise Lonsdale from Australia 0448 966 533. That's 0448 966 533. Or from New Zealand on 027 315 2858. That's 027 315 2858. Data Australasia. Guided by lived experience, led by you.